On the Russ stuff. We tried to warn you, Denver.
25 seconds. Westbrook a three. You bet! How about them apples?
We tried to warn you, Denver.
Down 3, 10.9 to go in overtime. Harden knocked out of bounds, and it last hit Harden. And guess what? The Clippers
playing well with Denver for what he's doing.
He won't when it matters. He won't. You can't fix him.
Westbrook with 10 points, and he's going to let it fly again. Westbrook is feeling it right now.
He has not been able to contribute to winning basketball in nearly a decade.
Paint now for the Clippers, but they still trail by 11 because they can't stop anybody.
Russell Westbrook, shot out of a cannon tonight.
What I'm telling you, he will be a net negative on winning playoff games. You can't fix him.
So, Russell Westbrook is having an amazing series against the Clippers. He hit the clutchest shot in Game 1 and forced a turnover on James Harden in overtime to seal that game. He was awesome in Game 2, rolled his ankle in warm-ups of Game 3. Tried to play through it, but he was terrible. He left that game early and then missed Game 4. Now he just dominated Game 5. When Michael Malone was fired, the blame Russell Westbrook trend started happening again, and Nick Wright was front and center.
Do you think those of us that warned folks that said, I don't know, man, where Russ goes, guys usually lose their jobs?
Well, that's not.
Yes, that missed layup and foul, it was the worst thing in basketball history. Oh my God, it was just awful, just terrible. But Michael Malone would have been fired earlier if Russ wasn't on the roster. Could you imagine if they didn't have their only decent bench player? And he was in the starting lineup most of the time due to injuries to Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. Even when Jokic missed a couple games, Russ was the driving force behind those wins. The Nuggets wouldn't be going anywhere without Westbrook. And that's not to say he's playing like an MVP or he's one of the best players in the league, but Denver has zero depth, and his breakout performances, like we just saw in Game 5, have been much needed for this team. But guys like Nick Wright are just trying to prop up LeBron and the Lakers by saying Westbrook is just impossible to win games with.
Oh, a whole lot of, man, one of the things that makes Joker so special. Why couldn't LeBron make it work the way Joker can?
He was a great starting point guard on the Wizards, the Clippers before Harden, and he's played well in the Nuggets. But forget that. Why is Westbrook on the Lakers still a talking point? Can't we move on? We know that Westbrook didn't play well in LA. It's not a secret, but Russ had a terrible contract at the time, and the Lakers were already paying Anthony Davis and LeBron James. They had to fill out their roster with old, washed, minimum contract players. They had Avery Bradley as a starter. That team was never going to win anything. LeBron and AD barely played. Their best player, Anthony Davis, played 40 games their first season together. How do you expect to win like that? A top-heavy team where the stars don't play? But now it's blame Russ for a team that lost KCP, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. They lost all their depth. They have no bench. And it's Russ's fault the coach was fired right before the playoffs for that same reason. Now, I don't care how you feel about Russell Westbrook. I understand he's a polarizing player. But if you're a basketball fan, I want you to answer this question honestly. Do you really think playing Jalen Pickett was the solution? Do you agree with Calvin Booth that that was one of Michael Malone's biggest mistakes, playing Russ over Pickett? The season Russ was having, Malone would be stupid not to play him. And if David Adelman didn't play him in these playoffs, he'd be just as dumb. Russ will always have his moments. He'll have his flaws. He's an out-of-control player. He turns the ball over a lot. He's not very efficient. But he's the only bench player for the Nuggets that does anything other than Peyton Watson. Without him, the Nuggets bench scored 4 points in Game 4. So enough with the narrative baiting to prove a point about a team that he hasn't played for in 3 years. And to say that he'll never impact winning basketball in the playoffs, Russ single-handedly kept them in Game 1 with his offensive rebounding and timely shot making. And I already mentioned the forced turnover in overtime. Then in Game 2, he scored 7 points in the fourth and was clutch.
Kicks it, Westbrook once again. Westbrook once again!
But got benched for Michael Porter Jr., who turned the ball over at the worst possible time. Had that have been Russ, we would have never heard the end of it. Nick would have been on TV the next day saying, "Remember when he was on the Lakers? Remember when he was on the Lakers? See, LeBron can't win with that. LeBron's the GOAT."
We tried to warn you, Denver. You can't fix him.
We tried to warn you. Who the hell is we? Are you on the team? Do you play for the Lakers, Nick? Maybe it's your fault they keep losing. In Game 3, yeah, he sucked. He rolled his ankle in warm-ups, but no excuses. He was on the court. He sucked. He was terrible. He didn't play in Game 4, and he was deeply missed when the Nuggets almost blew that game, but he played well in Game 5. Every game Russ has been fully healthy, he's been a direct factor to their success. And that's because Russ is one of the most dynamic players in NBA history. He can impact the game by defending, playmaking, rebounding, scoring. Even when he doesn't shoot well, he leaves his mark on the game, which is something he did for the Clippers when he shot 3 of 19 in a playoff game, but still made the game-winning defensive play and had multiple blocks, steals, and offensive rebounds. So no, just because Nick Wright is in love with LeBron James doesn't mean he gets to create narratives around a player for the rest of their career and blame them for everything bad that happens on their teams. Russ was a godsend to the Wizards. The Clippers were dysfunctional long before Russ got there. They choked in the playoffs multiple times while suffering from injuries. That's why they fired Doc Rivers and refused to pay Paul George. And the Nuggets are better with Westbrook. The team just got a lot worse after winning a championship. What happened on the Lakers has nothing to do with any of that. And if Nick Wright stopped looking at LeBron as the main character to everything, he would understand that.